welcome back. Thom Hartmann here with you. As I should have rebooted my computer this morning. I'm waiting for my, here it goes. There's my screening software. So anyhow, that's, early thoughts on the State of the Union address. And actually, I guess I haven't yet gotten to the State of the Union address. I will. But wow, the lines are slammed. People want to comment on this stuff. Let's see here. Mike in Taneyville, Missouri.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
Mike, thanks for watching Free Speech TV on Dish Network. What's on your mind?
Hey, first-time caller. Been listening for quite a while, like the Bernie Sanders on Friday.
Thank you.
And don't feel bad about you weren't browbeaten. This is Ernst. You can tell plastic people I'm a long-time entertainer, so I can kind of read crowds and eyeballs and smiles, and when you know somebody's...
Well, did you watch her delivery last night?
Oh, yeah.
Did it strike you as odd the way that she just held this continuous smile through the whole thing?
Well, that was kind of scary, but and then the bags on the feet. I mean, everybody's got the story of walking to school uphill, bare feet, and walking back uphill on the way home again.
Yeah, I didn't do it with bare feet, but I actually did walk 4 miles to school every day in the snow. In Lansing, Michigan, every winter. I mean, I did it. That was middle school, junior high school. I was a young teenager.
Well, yeah. And we share that in common, too, because I'm from Traverse originally.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so
Traverse City, so.
Yeah.
But I enjoy your programming, and just like everybody else in the world, we don't agree on everything 100%, but and as far as she goes, like I said, it's a little bit on the plastic side, and it's hard. I don't understand how people can take it 100% face value when someone's like that.
You wonder if whoever was advising her on how to do media was saying, this is how Republicans want to see their women, continuously smiling, sort of Barbie doll-like. That's how a lot of the women on Fox News are, as opposed...
Rapper wives?
Yeah. This is how Republicans want to see their women, so please behave this way. Or if she has internalized that, or if I'm just reading way too much into this. I don't know.
No, and my wife actually had already gone to bed, but she heard me watching that, because I watched the whole speech too, and I thought it was pretty good. I thought it really touched on a lot of subjects. And when she came on, she heard my gasp when I saw her come on.
Yeah.
She goes, "What's going on?" I said, I think I'm in for a show.
Yeah. So do you think that when she was talking about I wore bread bags on my shoes, that she was saying you can rise out of poverty and become a senator? Or was she saying I grew up in poverty and, half of American children right now are living in poverty, and that's a good thing because it builds character?
Well, I didn't see it. It didn't work in the context of where she came. I mean, she didn't even build. It just fell in. It's just like writing a story and losing a page.
Yeah.
And I didn't see where it fit in at all. I don't know. She didn't.
She didn't explain it.
Forward to it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is how I grew up, or my family came from. She just jumped right into it.
So then maybe the message was not all Republicans are billionaire fat cats. There's some of us who used to be poor, and we now just take money from billionaire fat cats.
Yeah.
Apparently that was her message. Mike, thanks a lot for the call. Great to hear from you, and thanks for watching Free Speech TV. We'll be back. It's 20 minutes past the hour. Thom Hartmann here with you. I want to get your thoughts on the State of the Union, too, in a few minutes. Let me just finish my rant here. Number one, President Obama. Well, first of all, how the middle class works. Here's clip number one, middle class economics.
Middle class economics works. Expanding opportunity works. And these policies will continue to work as long as politics don't get in the way.
In other words, Republicans.
We can't slow down businesses or put our economy at risk with government shutdowns or fiscal showdowns. We can't put the security of families at risk by taking away their health insurance or unraveling the new rules on Wall Street,
Republicans doing,
or refighting past battles on immigration when we've got to fix a broken system.
Republicans doing.
And if a bill comes to my desk that tries to do any of these things,
from Republicans,
veto it. It will have earned my veto.
There you go. Middle class economics works. The thing that I wish I'd heard, I wish he had been more partisan, but that's just me. I realized that this is a man who I think was speaking with absolute sincerity when he said, "I see one America," and he wants to reach across the aisle. I just think he doesn't realize the level of sociopathy that he's dealing with on the other side. So, and that said, again, here is another opportunity to have said, Democrats brought us Social Security, Republicans fought it. Democrats brought us Medicare, Republicans fought it and are still fighting it. Democrats brought us, go through the list, the minimum wage, workplace protections, unionization, on and on and on. But instead, he said, we did. And, which was great. I mean, I get it. This is the healing president. Clip number 2 here.
And in fact, at every moment of economic change throughout our history, this country has taken bold action to adapt to new circumstances.
No, progressives have.
And to make sure everyone gets a fair shot. We set up worker protections, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, to protect ourselves from the harshest adversity.
Democrats did all those things.
We gave our citizens schools and colleges.
Democrats did
infrastructure and the internet.
Lincoln was a Republican.
Tools they needed to go as far as their efforts and their dreams will take them.
Yeah. Lincoln actually set up 55 or 56 land-grant colleges across the country, all free colleges, and he was a Republican. But back then, the Republicans were the liberals, right? They were the progressives. They fought slavery and all that kind of stuff. So, anyhow, those are some of the things that I liked about this thing. The headlines, the commentators, the bloviators. I was channel surfing this morning and, of course, afterwards last night. And several times I heard commentators go, "Oh, Obama's moving to the left. His last 2 years, he's not up for re-election. He can now safely become the communist that he always was." And I'm like, left? Left? The vast majority. He's taking positions that Eisenhower in 1956 ran for president on. Eisenhower was a Republican. The 1956 Republican Party platform bragged about the fact that in the previous 4 years, the first 4 years of the Republican Eisenhower administration, Dwight Eisenhower had overseen more than 1 million people being added to the rolls of unions, more than 1 million people being added to Social Security being expanded with Social Security, disability, and other programs. It just went on and on through all these progressive things. What President Obama was laying out last night was not some leftist vision. I mean, you want a leftist vision? Go talk to the Castro brothers in Cuba. You nationalize all industry. You have the government run everything. Right? That's leftist. Obama is going to traditional, middle-of-the-road American values that are held by both Republicans and Democrats all across this country, just not held by Republicans in Congress, because the Republicans in Congress are the wholly owned subsidiary of the roughly 200 people who contributed about 40% of the billions of dollars that were spent on the last election, and the roughly 1,000 corporations that are highly politically active in the United States to the extent that they're funding in a major way, funding Republicans for Congress. Incredible. This, clip number 7, I thought this was wonderful. This, in my mind, he was taking a whack at George W. Bush, as he did in his first inaugural. I was there 60 feet from him, or 60 yards from him, as he was doing it. And George Bush was sitting behind him and making faces, literally making faces at Obama while this was going on. But this is Obama, in my opinion, saying, I'm not going to, thank God, the last 6 years, we have stopped the stupidity of the Bush administration. Here it is.
My first duty as Commander-in-Chief is to defend the United States of America. And in doing so, the question is not whether America leads in the world, but how. When we make rash decisions, reacting to the headlines instead of using our heads, when the first response to a challenge is to send in our military, then we risk getting drawn into unnecessary conflicts and neglect the broader strategy we need for a safer, more prosperous world. That's what our enemies want us to do.
Right. And that's exactly what George W. Bush did. You know, Osama bin Laden predicted Bush's response. He knew what, he was looking for a useful idiot in the White House. He got one, and ta-da, we got what we got. So I thought that was cool, too. So, when we come back from the break, I've got, a whole bunch of clips here and individual comments and thoughts on a lot of the things that were discussed last night. I was not happy that he was pushing the SHAFTA deal, the so-called Trans-Pacific Partnership, the Southern Hemisphere Asian Free Trade Agreement. But beyond that, I thought it was a great speech. And I think in a big way, really what he was doing was setting up the 2016 elections. He is the head of the Democratic Party. When a party has the White House, that president is the head of the party for all practical purposes. And here he is establishing, from him. And if he can maintain his popularity, which is going to depend a lot on what happens with the economy, then this was a good launching pad for 2016.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 202-536-2370.
So we'll see where it goes, and we'll pick up your calls after the break. Thom Hartmann here on the best of the rest of labor and economic news. You need to know this. Democratic lawmakers may have finally heard our voices. For the first time in a long time, party leaders in the House of Representatives have put forth a progressive tax plan that would tax Wall Street to give Main Street a little relief. Last week, Representative Chris Van Hollen announced the Democratic plan to create the kind of economy where the pie is growing and everyone's getting a better slice. That new plan would levy a transaction tax on Wall Street to expand or create new tax breaks for apprenticeship programs, childcare, people who save for retirement, middle-class working families, and even companies that give workers a raise. Although these ideas are not likely to come to fruition while Republicans are in charge, many people are happy to see Democrats once again demonstrating how they're different from those on the right. During the last election cycles, party leaders seemed to miss the message when it came to what voters wanted. Instead of calling for bold, progressive solutions, many Democratic candidates moved toward the so-called middle and lost touch with the social and economic ideas that separate them from the Republicans. Unsurprisingly, that didn't pan out well for Democrats. This bold new tax plan can put the left back on course toward a future of shared prosperity. The Democratic Party used to be the party of strong unions, the party of making the rich pay their fair share, and the party that fought for the middle class. Somehow, Democratic lawmakers forgot those points, but losing big in the last elections may have finally awakened them. This tax plan may not become reality under this Congress, but hopefully it's the first of many steps that Democrats take on the path towards progress. We all knew that the last election would break records on campaign spending, but where that money came from is still a giant surprise. According to a new analysis from the Brennan Center for Justice, the 2014 election saw massive increases in outside spending and so-called dark money. As the Center for Responsive Politics explains, dark money is a term applied to nonprofit groups who do not have to disclose their list of donors. So, although we may know which 501c3 groups got involved in the last election, we don't always know who is bankrolling those organizations. Brennan Center's analysis found that outside spending and dark money have both more than doubled since the 2010 election and led to outside sources having a bigger impact on close Senate races than actual voters or donors. We aren't just fighting to get money out of our political system. We're fighting for the ability to know who it is who is buying off our politicians. That's one more important reason why we need to get money out of politics. Go to movetoamend.org to find out how. President Obama is speaking up for municipal broadband. Last week, the president announced a new effort to